Hello students, welcome back to our channel. Students, in this video we are going to discuss the magnetic field due to a solenoid. We will see how a solenoid behaves exactly like a bar magnet, and we will derive a formula for the magnetic field inside a solenoid, which is a very important derivation from class 12th physics chapter 4 moving charges and magnetism. So let's start. So this is a solenoid, and when you connect a solenoid with a cell or a battery, then a current flows through the solenoid, right? This is the positive terminal of the battery, so a current flows like this, it goes like this, and then this, and in this manner current comes back from here like this. So we all know that whenever the current is in clockwise sense in a coil, then on that side south pole is formed, right? Now if I'm looking at this solenoid from this angle, so I can see that the current in this turn is in clockwise sense. So I can say this end of the solenoid, or this end of this particular turn, this face of this particular turn will behave as a south pole, right? And when this solenoid is viewed from this side, then the same current will be seen in anti-clockwise sense. So we can say that north pole will be formed on this side of the solenoid, right? So one end of this solenoid will behave as south pole and the other end will behave as north pole. And this is exactly like the bar magnet, because one end of the bar magnet is south pole and the second end of the bar magnet is north pole. And due to the formation of this north and south, the pattern of magnetic field lines of a solenoid is exactly the same as that of a bar magnet. This was our north pole, right? So we all know that magnetic field lines emerge from north pole. I'm talking about the bar magnet. So magnetic field lines of a bar magnet, they emerge from north pole, and then they go like this and they go into the south pole, and inside the magnet they again go from south to north and a loop is completed. So you will get the same pattern of magnetic field line for a solenoid also, right? Clear? Okay. But a current carrying solenoid, practically speaking, a current carrying solenoid is much better than a bar magnet due to some reasons. For example, the magnetic field of a bar magnet is fixed. You cannot change the strength of magnetic field of a bar magnet. But since the magnetic field due to a solenoid depends on the strength of the current, how exactly it depends on the strength of the current, we will just derive an expression in some time. So magnetic field of the solenoid depends on the strength of the current. So by changing the value of current, that is by changing the voltage, if we change the voltage then current will change according to Ohm's law. So by changing the current in the solenoid, the strength of magnetic field of the solenoid can be increased or decreased. That is one major advantage of current carrying solenoid over bar magnet. Secondly, the polarity of the solenoid can be reversed. For example, if we reverse the direction of current in this solenoid, right? If we connect the positive terminal of the battery from this end and negative from this end, then the direction of current will reverse in this solenoid, and due to that this pole will become south pole and this pole will become north pole. So the polarity can be changed. This cannot be, obviously this cannot be done in a bar magnet. If one pole is north pole, that is going to be north pole forever, right? And the other one will be south pole. You cannot change the polarity. And the third and other very important thing is that we can switch on or switch off the magnetic field intensity of a solenoid according to our need, according to our will, because if we switch off the current, then magnetic field of this solenoid will vanish. But in case of bar magnet, the magnetic field of a bar magnet is permanent and it cannot be switched off according to the need or according to the will, right? So now let us find a formula for the magnetic field inside a solenoid, and for that we are going to use Ampere circuital law. But first we will revise what was Ampere circuital law. I've made an entirely different video on Ampere circuital law, and it is a very important video. You can go and watch that video if you do not know what is Ampere circuital law, but Ampere circuital law is very important to find the magnetic field in such cases where there is some symmetry, right? So suppose we have this conductor which carries a current I, right? And we have to find a magnetic field, suppose at some distance r, due to this conductor. So what we will do, we will take a loop around. I'm not going into the details, we are just revising Ampere circuital law for this particular topic. So we will consider a loop, imaginary loop around this conductor, and that imaginary loop is called Amperian loop. That imaginary loop, this is called Amperian loop, right? This is called Amperian loop. So what we will do, we will give an imaginary direction of traversing to this imaginary loop. Obviously this loop is imaginary, so direction can be taken in either way. So let's take this particular direction in traversing a loop. So if we are taking this direction, right, like this, if I'm looking from this angle, then the direction is like this, that is in clockwise sense. So I'll curl the fingers of my right hand in clockwise sense, and I'll say any current which is going downwards will be taken as positive, because that is coming according to this direction, and any current which is going upward will be taken as negative. So we are going to take this current as negative, and we will apply this formula. The magnetic field at this particular point is B dot dl. dl is any small part on this loop, and we are going to take the dot product of B and dl, that is B dl cos theta, where theta will be the angle between this dl and B. Suppose at this point B is in this direction, so this is the angle. So for all these BLs, we are going to integrate this thing, and we will put this equal to mu naught into I, where I is the current in this wire, and we will give I the sign that we have just discussed, that is in this case we are going to give this a negative sign, right? Okay. So this was Ampere circuital law and using this law we will prove that the magnetic field inside this solenoid is mu naught n I. But what is mu naught, what is n, what is I? Let's see. Okay, so to use Ampere's circuital law, we need an imaginary loop, imaginary closed loop, which is called the Amperian loop. So in this case we are taking an Amperian loop. We are taking a square Amperian loop like this. This is a square Amperian loop which is half inside the solenoid and half outside the solenoid, right? Okay, now the magnetic field lines are in this direction. First let us give this Amperian loop a name. Let's call this vertex as P, this is Q, this is R, and this one is S. Now we will apply B dot dl for each and every part of this loop. Okay, so B dot dl for this loop P Q R S, B dot dl for this loop PQRS should be equal to mu naught I dash. I dash is what? Now listen carefully, that I is the current in this solenoid. This is the current which is coming out of the battery, right? This is the current I. But in case of Ampere circuital law, when we apply this formula B dot dl equal to mu naught I, we take only that current which is threading the loop, which means which is passing through the loop. Now this is a plane which is a two-dimensional body, and on this plane we have made a three-dimensional figure. So you just have to imagine things that I am saying, that this square loop is such that the turns, these turns are coming out of the plane, and now this is going into the plane. Now again this one is coming out of the plane and this is going into the plane. This is coming out of the plane, so this is going into the plane, right? So only this current, this and suppose this, only these three turns in this case, right? It can contain any number of turns because 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, this solenoid has only 8 turns, but practically solenoids have thousands and thousands of turns, right? So this square can contain any number of turns, and we have to add the current through each that turn. Then we will get the total current which is coming out of the loop, right? So for that, the total current which is coming out of the loop is obviously different from I, and we have taken that as I dash. Now for that, let us say, now first we will extend this, right? B dot dl, for B dot dl we are going to write it in 4 parts. First, B dot dl for the side PQ, B dl cos 0 degree, right? Because the direction of PQ is this, and the direction of magnetic field lines in this region is also this. So the direction, the angle between magnetic field and PQ is 0 degree, right? Plus, now take the other one which is QR. So this is QR B dl cos 90 degree, simply because at this point QR, the direction of QR is this and the direction of B is this. So angle between QR and B is what? Angle between QR and B is 90 degree. Plus RS zero dl cos theta. Outside the solenoid, the magnetic field vanishes, right? Just outside the solenoid, the magnetic field vanishes. So we can write that B is equal to 0, and for this particular side, that means SP, again angle is 90 degree, right? And cos 90 is 0. So this is 0. This was equal to what? This was equal to mu naught I dash. This was equal to mu naught I dash. So cos 90 is 0. This is 0, so whole becomes 0, and cos 90 is 0. So this and this, all these three terms are 0. So we are left with B dot dl equal to cos 0 degree. Cos 0 is 1 and B is constant throughout the interior of the solenoid, because the magnetic field lines inside the solenoid are equidistant and parallel. So we can say, and this is true also, that the magnetic field inside a solenoid is 0. So we are left with this. Now let us say that the length of this, the side length of this square is suppose L, right? Okay, so what will be the integral of dl? Obviously the integral of dl is L. So we can write it as B into L, okay, mu naught into I dash. Now n is number of turns per unit length. N is number of turns per unit length, not the total number of turns. Like if the total number of turns are 1000 and length of solenoid is 5 meter, then small n is 1000 divided by 5, that is number of turns per unit length. So if number of turns per unit length are n, so how many turns will be there in this much length? Obviously n into L, right? And Now we know that n into L turns are passing through this loop because there are n into L number of turns in this much length, right? And current in each turn is what? Current in each turn is I. So what is the total current that is threading this loop? That is NLI. So the value of I dash is NLI. Therefore, if we put mu naught into, in place of I dash, if we put NLI, so L will get cancelled out, and it has to be cancelled now because L is a parameter which is not the part of the solenoid. It is a property of an imaginary loop. So this should not come in final expression. So N is cancelled and we are left with B equal to mu naught N I, right? And this is the magnetic field inside a solenoid. Mu naught Ni, where mu naught is the magnetic permeability of the free space. If there is some other medium inside this solenoid, you have to put the value of magnetic permeability of that material. N is number of turns per unit length and I is current in the solenoid. So this was all about the magnetic field of the solenoid, the derivation and everything. This is a very important topic in class 12th physics chapter 4. So you have to prepare it very carefully. I'll meet you in the next lecture. Till then, all the very best.